Welcome to the brand new Zach Lowe Show. That's right, I'm back to have the same in-depth NBA conversations you're used to. We're going to talk about the games, the X's and O's, the drama. The playoffs are coming up. And now you get to see every episode in full on video on Spotify and on my own YouTube channel. Episodes drop every Monday and Thursday with a collection of guests you're going to love. So make sure you follow and subscribe to the brand new Zach Lowe Show on Spotify or wherever you watch or listen to your podcasts. Let's go!
Welcome to the Ringer NFL Draft Show. My name is Danny Heifetz, and I'm joined by Danny Kelly and Craig Horlbeck. And today we are doing the most fun quarterback episode you will listen to all draft season. We're going to go through each of the quarterbacks in this draft, and Deacon and I are going to argue for or against them, but we don't know who's going to do what. Because you know what? Honestly, this is not the most well thought of quarterback class. And you know who agrees with that take? Danny Kelly, who honestly, you're kind of sick of the quarterbacks in this class.
I think I have a little bit of fatigue of talking about these quarterbacks. And when we found out that we were doing the show today, well, when I found out we were doing the show today, I was just like kind of groaning. I was just
when
like,
you
God,
found
God.
out.
When I looked up from writing my draft guide and I was like, oh God, we have to talk about the quarterbacks today. But I'm going to get my energy up. We're basically being like public defenders for this, or Spin City. Remember that show Spin City with Michael J. Fox?
Well, I know of it. I don't know if I've maybe seen a couple episodes.
I think same with me, yeah.
But why I love this episode is because the entire offseason, the entire draft season, DK, Heifetz, everybody just gets to talk about the guys in the direction they feel strongly about, right? If they like a guy, all they have to talk about is why they like him. Today is the exact opposite. I'm going to flip a coin, and if DK loves Cam Ward and I flip the coin and it lands on tails, he's going to have to shit talk Cam Ward. And that's why this episode is so fun. And so we're going to go through the top 5 quarterbacks we presume in this draft: Cam Ward, Shedeur Sanders, Jaxson Dart, Tyler Shough, and Jalen Milroe. Maybe a couple at the end. We're going to flip a coin and then make Heifetz and DK make the case for or against these guys. I can't wait for whoever has to make the case for Jalen Milroe.
And if you have any,
I hope it's me.
And if you have any, usually in this exercise, some people want one side and want the guy, some people want the other.
Sure.
Just to give you an idea of how much.
You guys all want the negative side. You all want tails.
I think DK, I wrote down when we were talking about we're going to do this episode today. I wrote a quote down that DK said. DK said, "I'm tired of talking about quarterbacks who are going to be backups, and we're not going to talk about them for the next 5 years. The only guy who excites me even a little bit is Jalen Milroe, and he can't throw."
Yeah. By the way, to be clear, that was about all the other guys.
That was off the record, Heifetz.
Yeah, sorry. Okay. Well, now it's on the record.
Were we not in the tree? We're not in the trust tree? No, I was talking about the guys that are basically outside the first round.
Yeah, but still.
That could be everyone but Cam Ward, in theory.
Sure, could be.
Making you guys talk up the quarterbacks you hate is my one joy in the draft season. Should we just get started? Let's do it, right?
Yeah.
Let's do it. So did you remember a coin? We forgot a coin for this 3 straight years. You need to go
Got a coin right here. I have a really cool quarter. It doesn't even have a state on it. It just says...
It's not even a real quarter?
What are you talking about? It's a real quarter.
It's not a state quarter.
It doesn't have a state on it. It says United States of America, and then it says Medal of Honor, 1865, and it says Dr. Mary Edwards Walker. Who's that?
I don't know.
I assume the Civil War.
Embarrassing, you guys don't know, but...
Mary Edwards
She was an American abolitionist,
Doctor.
prohibitionist, prisoner of war in the American Civil War, and surgeon. Wow.
Well, that's about the Union winning the Civil War. That's DEI. They're going to take it off the quarter. So
right.
That's
you can no longer look it up online.
It's going to be an heirloom.
So this episode is dedicated to Dr. Mary Edwards Walker, abolitionist, prohibitionist,
cool,
prisoner of war. She would be honored. All right, let's get started.
I mean,
Craig's got the last quarter
prohibitionist,
with him on it.
not sure I'm down with that, but everything else
You
sounds
said
good.
prohibitionist instead of abolitionist?
No, it says both. She's an abolitionist and a prohibitionist.
Oh.
Are we talking about prohibition of alcohol? Because I'm not for that. Otherwise, she sounds like a great person.
There was a huge gap between those movements.
Yeah, prohibition was later. Right?
Thanks.
When did prohibition start?
Like in the 1900s.
Like the 20s.
Sometime. Yeah.
Well, she was for it.
In
her later years. When did she die?
Honestly,
1919. It was on her last day that she came out as a prohibitionist.
Every Sunday morning I wake up and I should be a prohibitionist. I'm like, I never want to drink again either, so I get it.
Never. Not me. I'll be splitting the G till my dying breath. Okay. First up, Cam Ward out of Miami. I'm going to give a little background on each guy, table set a little bit. Cam Ward, 6'2", 219, will be 23 years old in May. 5-year starter, played for 3 colleges, Incarnate Word, Washington State, finished in Miami. He has the most touchdowns in D1 history. Okay. Flipping the coin here.
Wait,
what do you guys want? Who
Wait,
wants what?
how do we do this? You're doing it for me or for Heifetz?
I'm going to do it for Heifetz. I'm going to go
Okay.
heads is for, tails is against.
I like
All
when
right.
one of us has to call it.
That's great.
DK can do it first. He's
It's
old.
like no country.
Yeah, it's like no country. I think that you have to make a decision.
No, we've had this exact discussion before. If we call it, then we get to choose what we're doing, and that's like defeats the whole fucking purpose.
You're right. Yeah, you're right. He didn't even know what episode we were
I
doing.
still want to
and
know
he's
what,
right.
Heifetz, what do you want?
What do you think it's going to be?
Do you want heads or tails, Heifetz?
I go heads. I never like tails. I'm a heads guy.
Okay.
He wants Cam Ward
Here
for
we
the
go.
Giants.
Here we go. It is tails.
Wait, what
So
does that
Heifetz-
mean? Who do I get?
Tails means you have to make the case against Cam Ward. Please
Okay.
proceed.
Oh, I'm going first.
Yeah, you are.
Are we calling you Your Honor?
Me?
Is
Yeah,
this
yeah.
a court?
Please call me Dr. Mary Edwards Walker.
So, here's my case against Cam Ward as the number 1 pick in the draft.
Yeah, tell me, why should I not draft him?
Because Cam Ward declared for the draft last year. He made a video and everything. And then like 2 hours later, Dane
Indecisive.
Brugler at The Athletic tweeted out, Scout just texted me. They gave him a 5th round grade. And then Cam Ward went back to school. And so how many times in this draft cycle have we said, Cam Ward, if he was in last year's class, he'd be like the 4th or 5th quarterback taken. No, actually, if Cam Ward were in last year's draft, he would have been a 4th or 5th rounder.
Yeah, maybe a 3rd or 2nd.
Sure, okay.
But yeah,
Okay.
probably.
Couldn't you have said that about Joe Burrow? There's plenty of players who took off their last season, right?
Yes.
Correct.
You could say that about a very small amount of quarterbacks, yes.
Super Bowl quarterback Joe Burrow. Got it. Okay. DK, tell
Yeah.
me why I should draft Cam Ward first overall.
So first off, what Heifetz said, it kind of reminds me of the Bo Nix discussion too, because Bo Nix went back to school, played another season at Oregon, absolutely blew up. And then even though we doubted him, he was really good as a rookie. I think Cam Ward, after seeing what he did this year, is in that category of Bo Nix, where I think he's the type of guy who can run an offense. Physically, he's the most impressive of the first-round quarterbacks, the guys that are expected to go in the first round. He's tough. He's physical. He can throw from weird arm angles. Makes the crazy throws, like on the move. The most important thing, which I love on his tape, is he can buy himself an extra beat in the pocket. If there's a guy in his face, if there's a guy bearing down on him, he can keep him from getting sacked and still get the throw off, buy himself an extra beat. This is something Patrick Mahomes does all the time.
Ooh, Mahomes.
So
reference.
therefore, he's basically Mahomes. No, not really. 57 starts in his college career, I believe. 3 different offenses, 3 different types of offense. Proves he can learn, proves he's really smart. Poised in the pocket, great touch when layering passes over the middle. Can throw deep, got some Houdini in him. I just think there's a lot of really exciting traits to like. And the more I watch him, the more he's grown on me, and the less I'm worried about what he was expected to be last year versus what he is now. A lot of guys, Craig, like you said, a lot of guys go back to school, improve, get better, and show that they can lead a program. Like he brought Miami to
Yeah, well, he threw a touchdown to get the all-time record and then left the ball.
the game. Right. Well, whatever. Details.
Which is like, everyone was mad, and then people were like, Jaden Daniels did the same thing.
So I don't know. I just think there's a lot of really exciting traits to like about him. I like him by far the most of the quarterbacks in this class.
Not to mention the intangibles, right? Real leader, hard worker, first guy in, last guy out. Cam Ward is a motivator on the field,
There you go.
right?
Craig's on my side.
I'm giving I'm going to award 25 cents to whoever has the most compelling argument. I'm going to give it to
There we
Dan
go.
Kelly.
Hell yeah.
I think my thing with Cam Ward is that I honestly, I can see it a lot of what DK is saying. I think the flip side, and I don't even think DK would disagree with this, is I think Cam Ward is a hero ball quarterback, but I don't know if Cam Ward's a hero. Like, I think that there's a desire to make him Batman, but I kind of think it might be more like the fake Batmans in The Dark Knight when the real Batman shows up and he's like, I'm not wearing hockey pads. And it's like, Cam Ward kind of is doing the hockey pad thing where it's like, he kind of thinks he's like, I would say Cam Ward has Matt Stafford's arm angles and has Matt Stafford's confidence, but Cam Ward doesn't have Matt Stafford's arm. So there is going to be like a lot of turnovers. Like the irony of this is that Cam Ward's better than Will Levis, but I kind of also think Cam Ward will probably lead the league in turnovers this season. And I kind of just do think there's not going to be dumb turnovers like like Will Levis had. But there's going to be a lot of crazy, overconfident turnovers from Cam Ward. And I think that there's actually a chance the Titans still are like the meme every week of like, why did Cam Ward do this? Like there is a recklessness. Like I'm not going to say there's the downside is like a Carson Wentz unfathomable, uncoachable aspect out of Cam Ward of this irrational confidence that you can't coach out of him. I'm not even saying that's going to happen, but like that is the floor you're talking about is someone who's making crazy decisions that at college worked and in the NFL level just never happened.
I want my quarterback to be arrogant. I'm for it.
That's fair. You want
That's
somebody
sick when it works, and then everyone blames that when they suck.
Yeah, but
fair.
But you still want you'd rather have that than not. Like even if they're good, you want him to be arrogant and cocky, and you need that in a quarterback. So
can I know I'm on the against side here. Can I say something nice about Cam Ward that has no bearing on like his ability as a player?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not even arguing like that this matters, but I will say the part that makes me sappy about him is like I know that we've had all these arguments about like NIL. Cam Ward is the reason we did NIL and got mad about what was happening with college players because literally he had one D1 offer at Incarnate Word and then went to Miami and like now it went from one D1 offer to Miami to the number one pick in the draft. I don't want to be all sappy, but like that is the American dream. Mm-hmm. And like that is what was being denied to players was the opportunity to prove themselves. I have no idea if an Incarnate Word quarterback is going to be an NFL player, but I will say like it's hard not to root for the guy. I'm a little worried he's going to suck. And I do wish the Giants had him, but it is I find it very hard to root against Cam Ward.
The way he was talking to Shedeur Sanders in that video, I love the way my son's talking to you.
You loved that, DK.
I love the way my sons are talking to you. Chip.
Okay, next guy up here. Shedeur Sanders, the quarterback out of Colorado, the son of Deion Sanders, 23 years old, 6'1.5", 212 pounds, played 2 years at Jackson State under Deion Sanders. Then moved to Colorado with his father, played 2 more seasons. The year before they were there, Colorado was 1-11. By year 2, they finished the season in the top 25. DK.
Yeah.
What do you want, heads or tails? What are you feeling?
I want tails.
You want tails? Okay.
I think.
I'm flipping.
Okay.
Do you change your mind on heads and tails based on the flip? I just go heads for every flip tail every Quintos I've ever called in my entire life.
Oh, really? No,
I don't know. I could count on
vibes.
I let it speak to me in the moment.
I could count on a couple hands how many times I've ever called tails in my entire life.
Well, it is tails.
Fuck.
DK.
Tails never fails.
DK.
Yeah.
Why should I not draft Shedeur Sanders?
All right, look. Below average size, below average traits, basically no exceptional traits, physically speaking. Mm-hmm. You want to spend an early first-round pick on that? He is a little bit
I'll give you
slow.
an exceptional trait, the Deion Sanders DNA.
Well, that was a rhetorical question, Craig. You're not supposed to be answering these things.
Sorry.
Okay, look. He's tough in the pocket, but he's also a beat slow getting the ball out. That leads to an insane amount of sacks. He has a tendency to drift into pressure. Tied for the FBS high last year with 41 sacks. Finished second in the FBS in 2023 with 49 sacks. That's not the type of thing that goes away in the pros. This is kind of like one of the lessons we learned with Caleb Williams, where I kind of was able to hand wave the sack thing with Caleb Williams, the pressure to sack ratio. It was slightly worrying, but I was like, man, he's just so exciting and so dynamic. He can get out of jams. But turns out, guess what? It is a really huge problem when you take a lot of sacks. Sacks are a drive killer. So this is something pretty major that I'm worried about with Shedeur Sanders. And he doesn't have the physical traits, the physical dynamism that Caleb Williams has to escape pockets and get out of the pocket, get out of pressure, all that stuff. This is my worry, that the sacks are a fatal flaw and he doesn't have the physical traits to kind of like make up for that. Also, the Deion circus is not going away, even though he did get extended at Colorado. It's just going to be a storyline every week. What's Deion got to say about this, that, or the other thing?
Heifetz?
Sorry, I got really caught up. He said Colorado.
Colorado.
Do you pronounce
the state
Rado?
of Colorado?
Colorado.
Well, I've been calling it Colorado.
It
You
is
just switched.
It's Nevada and Colorado.
It's like people who say Oregon versus Oregon.
Dude, I don't think anybody actually really does Oregon.
I've heard
You
Oregon.
say Jaguar. I think Jaguar is wilder to me than.
You say tournament, and I say tournament.
Well, that's an accent.
It's regional diction, guy. I'd like to hear from Coloradans what the pronunciation is.
Yeah, I'll defer.
Colorado?
I don't even think you know what you
I
say
don't
typically.
know. I honestly don't know.
Yeah.
I
You
think
go
I
back
usually
and
say
forth
Colorado.
like you're asking like
It's like
whether
flipping
you
a
want a
coin.
receipt
You
or not.
change it every time.
Yeah. Tails never
Colorado.
falls
Okay.
out.
Heifetz.
Colorado.
DK, I'm muting your mic. It is now
Hey.
Heifetz's turn to speak. Why should I draft him? Why should I draft Shedeur Sanders?
Because what if I told you there was a quarterback in this year's draft who was highly experienced, 4 years as a starter, high football IQ, accurate, tough as nails, a calculated gunslinger who, they had no running game, extends players to give his guys a chance. It's the only way they could win games was him doing that, and they did. Big 12 Offensive Player of the Year, the Johnny Unitas Golden Arm Award winner, which I don't even know what that is, but Jaden Daniels, Burrow,
Sounds
and Andrew
cool.
Luck won it. Sounds cool. Golden Arm. Teammates love him. Ball is left tackle, a Maybach, speaking of things I don't know how to pronounce, but that's sick. Also, his father is probably the best NFL quarterback of all time. So
Corner back.
well, I know, but if I say it slowly like that, like it sounds like quarterback and I might trick some people. And then like they always say NFL bloodline, Hall of Fame bloodline, and also personally mentored by Tom Brady. If I saw all that in the draft, I would say, where do I sign?
I have a theory that the best children of athletes that make it, usually their parents are not elite professional athletes. It is always the mid-tier.
they're better than their
professional
dad.
athletes.
Chip
Like,
on their shoulder. Like they,
it is
yeah.
it is like Steph Curry with Del Curry, Klay Thompson with Michael Thompson. To me, it's like
100%.
the sons of Michael Jordan, the sons of LeBron James. Those people usually struggle the most. And Dion and Shedeur, unfortunately, fall into the latter category where the genetics usually don't, they're not equal passing down to your child.
Unless you're Vladimir Guerrero,
Yeah.
who just signed a $500 million
Yeah, there you
contract.
go.
Yeah, there are a few. It's like Ken Griffey was pretty good, but I don't know, was Ken Griffey a Hall of Famer? No, right?
His dad, no.
His dad was
No, Ken
his
Griffey
dad was
Sr. was not a Hall of Famer. He was good. He was like a 3-year All-Star, something like that. But it's rare that you get the Hall of Fame talent producing a Hall of Fame offspring. That rarely happens.
Mm-hmm.
There's not that many Hall of Famers. But yeah, no, I like you're helping my argument, actually. No, wait. Which one?
No,
What
I'm
side am I
hurting.
on?
You just argued for
that's
me.
bullshit. Fuck, I forgot.
Yeah.
I'm for him.
Heifetz. If I asked you to guess which player on Colorado was Deion Sanders' son, who would you say?
DK, that should have been in your case.
Yeah.
Which
I
guy
said that earlier. I
on,
definitely
on the Colorado team? I'm going to keep saying it. Now
definitely
it
would
sounds
say
weird.
Travis Hunter is probably Deion Sanders' son if I had just watched him. But that's not the point. I think that, to me, like,
How much of this is, you can make the case that Shedeur had a terrible O-line in Colorado, couldn't run the ball.
Sure. Of course.
He had good receivers, but it's not like the infrastructure around him was exactly Ohio State. So DK, how much do you factor that into your analysis of what he was able to do last year?
I mean, I think it's definitely a factor. It's a variable. And like we talk about, ad nauseum with the quarterbacks, so much has to do with surrounding system, supporting cast, the offense, all that stuff. So I'm definitely not writing off Shedeur Sanders as someone who can improve in that area in terms of like his pressure to sack rate and just overall the amount of sacks he takes. I'm not totally writing him off. I'm just worried. It does worry me a lot.
so I think there's the criticisms of Shedeur. I think you divide it into on-field and off-field. And the off-field's not what you usually say. It's just the Deion of it. And we'll put in the Shedeur's personality. Let's just put that to the side for a second. The on-field criticisms of Shedeur, as DK mentioned, are basically arm strength, athleticism, and then like the play style. The arm strength thing I think is so overblown because like he is NFL level arm strength. Shedeur Sanders is not going to have like Justin Herbert arm strength or Mahomes arm strength, but neither does Joe Burrow. Like Shedeur Sanders absolutely has like NFL level arm strength. Also, he has more pitches. Like, Shedeur Sanders does not have the arm strength of Anthony Richardson. I would argue Shedeur Sanders might have more arm talent than Anthony Richardson because he actually is accurate enough to put the ball where it needs to go and layer it over a linebacker or over a defender and drop it where it needs to go. So I would say like just the yes-no test of is his arm awesome is ridiculous because Shedeur has the accuracy. The other thing I'd say is I don't even dismiss anything DK's saying. Shedeur's play style is crazy because if you watch just bailing from pockets back and like trying to make stuff happen, totally. But the question is like, why? Like, why is Shedeur doing that? The answer is Colorado sucked.
Yeah.
They had no running game whatsoever. Shedeur literally had to win every game. There was no running game. Defenses knew they had no running game. They were played so aggressively, and it was just like, get the ball to Travis Hunter. Teams try to double Travis Hunter. Yes, there's a lot of screens. There's so many screens because they had no running game. And so I think that Shedeur had, and also his dad's the coach, he had the mandate to just go make stuff happen. You know what? They won a lot of games. Like, compared to the way the program was before, like, they won a lot of games. And so when
Does it worry you that he's only ever played for his dad?
I think it's. Look.
Like,
obviously,
taking off the constructs of
It has to.
this game. That is weird. I think that's like a weird thing.
He's essentially he's a homeschooled athlete for the last 10 years of his life.
Going to high school after being homeschooled his whole life.
Yeah, Deion's a little snowplow parent. I get that. But also the idea that you might not take a good. And here's the other thing. It reminds me of what Mike Tomlin said on Flying Coach when Craig was producing Flyer Coach.
Great
I believe it was
podcast.
the season with McVay and Peter Schrager and Tomlin. And Tomlin's talked about this on the Pivot Pod and like coaches shirking the responsibility of coaching. And the dirty secret that coaches don't necessarily want to coach everyone. And that if they don't like a player or they don't believe in a player, they don't want to coach him. And Mike Tomlin's secret sauce is coaching all the players. Kind of like how some of the most successful car dealers don't actually judge whoever walks through the door. They treat everyone equally. Mike Tomlin tries to coach everyone. There is something to be said of they're so afraid that Shedeur's not coachable that they haven't considered that the Hall of Fame quarterback who's obsessed with Tom Brady what if he's actually super coachable? You know what I mean?
Is that why they traded Kenny Pickett after like 2 years?
I don't get it.
Tomlin was like, I can't coach this guy.
Well, no, he just sucked. That was a mistake. That was a bad pick.
Okay.
I know what I'm saying with Shedeur is like for somebody, look, Shedeur, I will say, Shedeur said all the right things. Shedeur said, basically, he worships Tom Brady. Shedeur said stuff like, I'm okay sitting. I don't remember the last top prospect that was like, yeah, I'm cool sitting for like a long time. And I'm just saying, like, with Shedeur, the idea that he bails from these pockets, so he's incapable of playing in the pocket. All right, so he's going to have to learn a little bit to play from the pocket. Guess what? All the quarterbacks who are rookies have to learn from the play from the pocket. It's very rare to get an Andrew Luck who's just out of the box playing from the pocket. So I just really do think that Shedeur, like the IQ is very underrated. And so I think that if Shedeur goes to a team with an actual running game, I think people might be like, it's the week one test. How many quarters do you need to see if Shedeur, let's say Shedeur falls in the draft, it goes to whoever you want, but a team with a solid line. How many quarters of Shedeur actually playing an actual drop back passing game from the pocket? So you're like, oh, like he's good. I can't believe he wasn't taken in the top 20 picks. Because I think I'd only need to see like 3 quarters of Shedeur playing in a real offense for me to be like, oh my God, I can't believe everyone let this happen.
You touched on a good point there. I think with Shedeur specifically, I don't think he's like a Justin Herbert or a Burrow where it's like, I kind of think you could just drop him on any team and the team immediately wins like 7-8 games. I think Shedeur is the type of guy where it's like, sure, if he gets to be in an offense that's like a Minnesota, a San Francisco, on a team that already has some infrastructure around him, he probably could succeed early. But if he does get drafted by like the Giants or the Browns at 2 or 3, to me, this could go sideways pretty quickly because then you start to talk yourself into all the other stuff that you just outlined or that DK just outlined. And you're like, all right, this guy's only been coached by his dad. Physically, he's already probably in the bottom 5 or 7 at the quarterback position in terms of just what he's capable of physically. He's undersized.
In a world of superhero QBs, you're going to shun it.
I don't love when the first trait you say about somebody's like, oh, what do you think about Shedeur Sanders? Oh, he's really tough. It's like, man, that's like saying a girl's really nice. You know, it's like... They're all tough. These are football players.
Sweetheart, yeah.
I concede that Shedeur Sanders does not have an elite ceiling. He doesn't have necessarily a physical superhero trait. Like the reality, I could say he's a cornerback body that he got from Deion and didn't get Deion's cornerback athleticism. Like that's the reality. The flip side is I think everyone's so obsessed with not having the physicality that people actually kind of underrate Shedeur's IQ, which is what everyone says about quarterbacking, is that above the neck is more important than below the neck. And then you actually see a player like this that you don't usually see having that skill set, and everyone ignores the IQ. And all that's to say, I totally concede the athleticism thing. I also would like to point out that the highest paid player in the history of the NFL is Kirk fucking Cousins. So the idea that you can not be necessarily the most traditional athlete and not have a decade-long career as an NFL starter where when you hit free agency, teams fucking clamor over themselves. And that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying Shedeur is going to be, at any point, a top 3 quarterback. He'll never be Josh Allen or Mahomes. I also do think that, what year is it, 2025? I think Shedeur Sanders is still starting in the NFL in 2035. That's what I'm saying.
I think that's a very fair point. I think Shedeur has a rare blend. I still can't really figure it out. He has a rare blend of humility and cockiness. Where there are some things he says, like where he's like, I don't care where I go, I'm happy to sit for a year, that you're like, all right, this guy has his head on right. And then there's other parts where he's like, I get paid to shill Gatorade, like I'm a brand. And you're like, oh, I don't love that.
I'll tell you exactly what it is.
I'm a business man.
It's the Bill Belichick, Bill Parcells in the 80s when he was the Giants head coach and Belichick was the Giants defensive coordinator. Parcells nicknamed Belichick Doom because he was so awful to be around. And Belichick loved it because he realized that if his reputation was as an asshole,
Yeah.
the bar for being nice to people to get them to like you was so low. Like if he just smiled, people were like, he's not so bad. It's just happiness is expectation minus reality. Like if people expect Belichick to be awesome, he could disappoint. So that Shedeur, if everyone expects you to be cocky, and you just say, I'll sit for a year, and you're like, dude, humble.
Right. There's like kind of a nice blend going on. It's kind of like that Chalamet speech that he gave at the Golden Globes, was it? When he was like, I want to be the best of all time. Like, I want to be up there with De Niro and Daniel Day-Lewis. And it was kind of like, I don't know if I respect this or this is like in real poor taste. but I think ultimately everybody left being like, this kid's young and hungry and you have to respect what he's going for. And I kind of think Shedeur is towing that line kind of nicely for how famous he is and who his dad is and for all the media hoopla around him.
And the last thing I'll say on this is that I think Shedeur, frankly, has a lot of intangibles, and this is like a little third rail we're going to touch. There are things about Shedeur that I think, like, if he were a white quarterback from Duke, like a Daniel Jones, people would be like raving about intangibles, like the toughness. Like
I didn't like Daniel Jones, for the record.
No, I never liked Daniel. I hate him. But the point is, I just think there are certain highlights of Shedeur that the combo of just the fame and the wealth and just everything, and I think that goes underrated. He is so tough. He gets the absolute shit kicked out of him, and he gets up so confidently, like he puts his body on the line. Mm-hmm. And then also, but the teammates, for better or worse, the teammates like him. Again, I love that he gave the Maybach to the left tackle. I don't know how to say that word, but also the IQ stuff. I think that's also like a huge intangible that doesn't get talked about enough with him. I'm a big believer that he gets football. Like he understands what's happening on the field, in my opinion.
Okay, so gun to your head, if the Giants take him, you're going to be excited or sad?
Have you been committing to this bit the entire time, or are you now just speaking as yourself? Heifetz. Has the last 5 minutes been how you actually feel, or are you still
they take him
I believe in Shedeur. My only hesitation with it is that I am as in Travis Hunter as they've ever been on a non-quarterback. So I think that the simplest
He's gonna be
answer
sad if they take him
is if the Giants had the 4th pick, I want Shedeur. I'm conflicted about Shedeur versus Travis Hunter or Carter, but that's because I'm being honest that I do think Shedeur probably needs a better offensive line, but reality, I kind of think Shedeur with Malik Neighbors and the Giants offense would work. But if we're being honest, the best thing for Shedeur is sliding and then going to a better team. If he went to the Rams and sat behind learned from McVay and Stafford for a couple of years, I think Shedeur actually would start for 12 years.
DK, I was shocked that in your case against him, you didn't bring up the fact that he has a podcast already.
He does.
That's a
I
good
didn't
call.
actually know that.
He's had a podcast for the last year.
Can I forfeit my case? Can I strike
I have
him
not
from
listened
the
to
record?
it.
He's reacting to news. He put up an episode 2 days ago reacting to the Giants signing Jameis Winston and Russell Wilson. He's in it. He's making content.
Yeah.
So
do you think he would come on our podcast?
Content.
He's making content. He has 111 subscribers on YouTube.
We should have Shedeur come on our show
on
and flip the coin about what they
Do you
had to defend
remember?
himself.
You remember when Russell Wilson became the editor of the Players Tribune or something? I can't remember what he was.
He became or did he just have edit his own?
I think that's how Trae Young is the assistant GM for Oklahoma. I'm yeah, sure, that's what Trae Young is.
Yeah, I was I
Steph
just
Curry
imagined
for Davidson.
Russell Wilson fucking trading notes in Google Docs with one of his writers as he's going through the editing process, passing it on to the fact checkers. Russell Wilson, he's got time to do this.
The podcast, by the way, Shedeur's podcast, it's called Too Legendary with Shedeur Sanders.
Yeah.
So anyway, all right, next guy here.
Russell Wilson's a senior editor at the Players Tribune. Sorry, continue.
Jaxson Dart, quarterback out of Ole Miss, 6'2", 223 pounds. He'll be 22 years old in May, so he's the youngest of the crop we're talking about today. He's played 4 years in college, the first at USC, and then he transferred when Lincoln Riley and Caleb Williams came in town, and now he's spent 3 years at Ole Miss, and he kind of looks like the villain in a Disney Channel original movie. Heifetz, you want heads or tails here?
Wait, so heads is for and tails is against?
Yep.
I want tails.
So far, everyone's been getting what they don't want. You want tails? It is tails.
Thank God.
Shoot.
So do I go first?
Heifetz, go ahead. Tell me why I should reach for Jaxson Dart.
Wait, am I arguing for him or against him?
Oh, wait, sorry. Tails is against.
Heifetz is against, yeah.
Heifetz, tell me why I should never fucking reach for Jaxson Dart.
Sucks. This guy's he's not an NFL quarterback. Jaxson Dart is not an NFL quarterback. I could go on, but that's
you probably should.
Okay.
I'm not convinced. Tell me why.
What does this guy do? It's the Lane Kiffin, this offense at Ole Miss.
What would you say you
Jaxson
do
Dart,
here?
not asked to go through progressions, not asked to anticipate throws. It's like guy open, throw to guy. So you kind of have to teach him football. And then also, usually guys like that, you're like, well, he's prototypical size. You know, he's 6'6", 240. No, he's 6'2", 220, like everyone else in this class. Like, he doesn't have, like, he has arm strength. I wouldn't even necessarily say he necessarily has the accuracy. I think the accuracy kind of comes and goes. It's like cool to watch him throw something deep at the combine, but in reality, like, I am not convinced that he actually has any of the things you want to talk yourself into these guys. It's the idea that we actually got ourselves frothed up of Steelers, you know, maybe they get Dart at 21st.
Frothed up is I don't like that term.
Okay, Mr. Gonna call every blue sky post a skeet. Calm down over there. I'm gonna go 2-0
frothed
right now.
up here.
Yeah, I'm gonna say skeet 10 times an episode, but froth is where you stop.
Yeah,
Stop.
No, I support both now. I changed my mind.
The point is, Jackson, there's a chance Jaxson Dart to the Steelers at 21 would actually be just as bad as Kenny Pickett, who is last in every category in NFL history.
That's a strong closing statement.
I know.
Mr. Kelly?
Okay, so
tell me why I should reach. If I'm the Steelers, why would I
starters,
take a shot?
Craig, have you considered the fact his name is Jaxson with an X?
Okay, I'm listening.
Jaxson Dart.
But it's not just Jackson with an X. Like, I have a friend named Jack who spells his name Jaxson. Yes, it's Jaxson.
Which is the kind of name that, like, in Madden or College Football 25, they have cool names like that to signal that the 6th-round guy or the, like, 2-star prospect's actually incredible.
And it doesn't make sense. The X already has the S sound in it. Why do you need the X?
Can I submit an addendum to the court? Did you guys know that not only is Jaxson Dart's name Jackson, Jaxson Dart has a little brother named Diesel Dart?
No.
Get the fuck
out.
Stop it.
Diesel Dart.
I'm so upset.
His real name is Diesel? Is it Diesel or Diesel, by the way?
No, it's Diesel. Well, the word?
So let's not get into that.
Vin Diesel made it Diesel. It's not Vin Diesel.
I say Diesel.
I mean, people have been arguing that for centuries.
Yeah.
I didn't know
argument as old as
Diesel
time.
Dart.
His real name is Diesel?
It can't be Diesel, dude.
It's fucking Diesel. It's
his real name is Diesel?
Dane Brugler, the Beast. Shout out Dane Brugler with the unbelievable The Beast. He has this giant scouting report. It's Diesel Dart. He's a receiver.
This reminds me of how Brock Purdy's brother's name is Chubba.
Well, that's a nickname.
Chubba Purdy.
They gave him. That's even worse because they gave him a real name and then he was born and they're like, "We're gonna call you Chubba." We like that better than the
his
name
name's not even Chubba. This is devastating.
Diesel Dart.
Chubba.
Diesel Dart might go to San Diego State.
Oh, you're all
get
in.
out, Craig.
Yeah.
Now you got to get in on the NIL.
He has two offers: Ole Miss and SDSU.
So if you donate, how does it work with NIL? If you donate to your school,
you got Diesel.
Can you like
and
earmark
Magoo?
it to be like for Diesel Dart only?
I hope. Yeah, I want to try. This is to buy Diesel Dart a burrito from Trujillo's.
All right. Here's my defense of Jaxson Dart. 3-year starter, good experience, played a lot of football, which is always a good thing. Last year, big play aficionado. I'm serious. I think it is a good thing.
I'm awarding 25 cents to Danny Heifetz already.
For saying that it's good to have experience?
You just starting with like 3-year starter, experience is good. You it's not even in you. I don't feel it. This is not full-throated.
Craig, how does this do? Does this do anything for you?
Danny, right. Sell me on Jaxson Dart.
In FBS, in touchdown throws of 20-plus yards, 17. 29 big-time throws, according to PFF, which is fourth most. Big-time throws are the throws that are deemed really, like, very, very high degree of difficulty throws.
Okay.
Fourth in the country in those. Really good under pressure. Some of the best pressure numbers, according to PFF, with a guy in his face.
All right.
Throws a catchable ball, layers passes, good touch and placement. Again, I say 3-year starter. It is important. This is a big thing. Also, he's pretty athletic. He's not super tall, but he's athletic. He's muscular. He's got a good frame, aggressive mentality. And again, I say he will throw with guys in his face, which I definitely respect a lot. This is as full-throated as I'm going to get on Jaxson Dart.
Okay. All right. I still think I'm going to award 25 cents to Danny Heifetz on Jaxson Dart. You know what's tough about
because he's started a lot of games. Come on.
You know what's tough about
games?
Guys like Jaxson Dart? For normal people who watch college football as a fan, maybe they're watching highlights on YouTube, the people not grinding tape. It's tough because, like, half these guys in college, They all look good because every time they drop back, they just throw a 50-yard bomb to a guy who's wide fucking open. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. I don't know if Jaxson Dart is good or not because there's 15-minute reels on YouTube of him just throwing a wide open guys.
And it's so funny too, where we joke about how like every player you've ever seen in any sport on television is the best player in the history of wherever they're from. And any quarterback that's good enough to be drafted, the resumes are insane. And it's like Jaxson Dart, like I'm going to do DK's job for him for a second. Broke Eli Manning's passing yards record at Ole Miss. Jaxson Dart was the Gatorade National Football Player of the Year in high school. And he sucks. And like, that's crazy. Like the bar to be an NFL quarterback, like I think we were talking about this. I don't remember if this was on the pod or real life, but standard deviations is a nerdy concept. I actually think athletes are the best. Athleticism is the best real life application of standard deviations where there's an entire deviation between like us
the local
playing.
Luke Ridnour.
Like between us playing basketball and the best player at our high school and the best player at high school basketball and D3 and D3 to D1. And like even the best player in D1 to NFL is like another deviation. Like it's actually crazy how big the gap is. He's not good.
Okay. I'm still, even though you just argued for DK kind of, I'm still awarding you the quarter.
Thanks.
All right, next guy, Tyler Shough,
now
spelled Shough, but it is pronounced Shuck. He's out of Louisville. This is a bit of a longer preamble here, so give me a second. He's 6'5", 220 pounds. He's 25 years old, but he's going to be 26 basically when the season begins. When he went to Oregon, was his first college in 2018. At that time, Trump was 2 years into his first term as president. The first Black Panther film came out in 2018.
Oh,
he was Justin Herbert's backup. Justin Herbert has played 5 seasons in the NFL.
Craig, he was, I believe, you can fact check me on this. I believe he was Justin Herbert's backup in his second season.
That is correct.
he was in the same high school.
It's not even his first season.
He was the backup to a guy who's played 5 NFL seasons.
He was dude.
He was in Trevor Lawrence's recruiting class.
And Trevor Lawrence has had 4 head coaches.
Trevor Lawrence is on his second contract already.
So there are reasons why. So he followed up Justin Herbert at Oregon in the COVID year. Then he transfers to Texas Tech for 3 years. Now at Texas Tech, he broke his collarbone, missed year 1. He injured his shoulder and missed 6 games in year 2. And then he broke his fibula in year 3. Now finally, year 4. 3,100 yards, 23 touchdowns, 6 picks, 8-4 record. Tyler Shough. Heifetz.
Shough.
Do you want heads or tails?
I would like tails. I would like to go. I don't want to argue for this guy.
It is heads.
Fuck. Wait. Oh, shit.
That means Heifetz. Please make the case for Tyler Shough. Why is he the most underrated quarterback, slept on quarterback in this draft?
You know, Craig, youth is wasted on the young.
Right.
It's a reason that saying's thousands of years old.
Heifetz, start with the fact that he started a lot of games.
Started a lot of games.
I forgot to say he transferred to Louisville after those texts. So the great season was at Louisville. But anyway,
look, Tyler Shough, again, he's tall.
Right. Big guy, 6'5".
Heifetz, literally, first note I have, he's very tall.
Super tall. Taller than the other guys. 3 inches.
That matters.
He's the tallest.
3 inches taller than the other guys. I would argue that, size isn't everything, but 3 inches is right around where you're like, oh, wow. I would
it makes a difference.
Inches. So that's a pretty big deal. I would also argue that the maturity, again, some of these guys, they're just dumb. They're young. Like the problem with these guys coming out isn't always the lack of experience. It's that they're stupid because they're 22 and the brains aren't done developing. Tyler Shough's brain developed.
It's borderline decaying.
He has 4 college degrees, you guys.
Dude, that guy is so smart.
He has 4 fucking degrees.
Off the charts.
Derogatory, maybe?
He actually, I think I don't know how many guys in this class at any in quarterback actually did anything with play action. Tyler
I have a question.
Play action.
How many medical red shirts can you get? If you keep getting injured, can you stay in college forever?
There was that Miami tight end who had like 9 years.
Right.
Because he had COVID.
Like if you break your leg in week 3 every year, how long can you stay in college?
I think the answer is 9.
Oh, it's 9?
9 plus COVID, so 7. I don't know. A lot.
So are you telling me Tyler Shough could have gone back to school? He's like, hold on, I need to get my PhD.
He should have done the Cam Ward. Go back to school. He could have been the first pick next year. That's why he's a huge steal. Like you're getting him. He could be the first pick next year if he went back to school. He's coming out because he's got to feed the family. And unfortunately, if he doesn't get a job, then he'll be off his parents' health care. Right. So that's like, he really needs to get drafted.
He's gonna have to get Cobra.
So wait, have you concluded your pitch for Tyler Shough?
Wait, did you say anything good about him?
Tell me something
the
about
tall
him.
thing.
You're my consultant. I'm on the clock. I'm debating taking him or a D tackle. Why should I take him?
because I think he's the only guy in this. He's one of the only guys in this class that has what you would want with an NFL frame, and I actually think he can like play quarterback. And like, I know that's a silly thing to say, but like, he can play quarterback, and you're going to be able to get him in like the fucking 6th round because he's 20.
He's going to be earlier than that.
What? Well, why? Because he's good.
He has a live arm. I'd say he has some pretty impressive throws on tape. Are we just like breaking character here? He has a low pressure to sack rate, which is really a good thing. He has a lot of the Cam Ward-esque where he drops his arm and like makes a little whip throw to like avoid a pass rusher in his face, things like that. He has a little bit of magic making talent in terms of outside of structure, getting around, making plays, running around. He loves to go to his left and throw with his right hand. Make some cool throws that way. So I think there are some things.
I think that's all the time we got, Craig, right? So
there are some things to like. Here's
Usually the two candidates never agree. I don't know what to do here.
That was my preamble. And the bottom line is I went in, I'll be honest, sometimes you have a bias in these things. I went in wanting to like him because I thought people are making fun of this guy because he's a 7th year. He literally has been in college for 7 years. And we made fun of Bo Nix a lot for that. And I'm just like, maybe, there's something here. He got hurt a bunch. Like, he just kind of fell through the cracks every year, had to keep staying in school and looking for his best opportunity. And guess what? When he came back as a 7th year senior, he made the best of it and he did pretty well. However, when I watched him, I really didn't like him at all. Again, there are some things to like, but I didn't like him as much as I was hoping I would like him because I have a sinking feeling the Seahawks are going to take this guy in the 2nd round for some reason because he's just like John Schneider's fucking dream. But here's some cons. He's been in college for the better part of a decade. Massive injury red flags. He's had 3 separate season-ending injuries in college. I mentioned he doesn't take a lot of sacks. Well, that's because he throws the ball away like
a seasoned mature quarterback.
Just so much. It's like actually really annoying watching his tape because if the second pressure arrives, he just goes, and like throws it out of bounds.
Like Aaron Rodgers?
He second most throwaways in college football last year. And in addition to that, when he's not throwing it out of bounds, he falls away from throws. He's constantly fading away from throws, putting it into danger. The ball flutters and floats when he's like not setting his feet. I think his footwork is pretty hit or miss, especially considering he's been in college for this long. You'd think he would have a little bit cleaner footwork. He's late to throw. I just didn't really like him, which means, the world is weird and he's probably going to end up a really good starter. But I was not impressed. That being said, I think he'd be like, he has like the upside to be a starter. I just think you'd see more from a guy who's been.
Why is he John
years.
Snyder's kind of perfect quarterback? He's just like big, sneaky, athletic, live arm. He ran a 4.6 40.
Yeah. Tough, resilient. There's like the grit factor. He keeps coming back from injuries.
Yeah, he ran a 4.63, which was kind of.
He's pretty athletic. He runs around. Like I said, he's got some magic to him. There's some splashy plays out there.
Yeah, there's a couple like Matt Stafford. He's rolling right or he's rolling left, turns around,
he's
whips the ball.
Yeah, he's doing like the sidearm, the second baseman throw or whatever. I don't know. I think honestly, and again, this a lot of scouting and all this comes down to like a little bit of biases. But the way he kept throwing the football away just drove me nuts. Like it just drove me nuts when I was watching it. And I don't obviously that's something that he can coach up. But
who is his comp to you?
Who did I have? I think Josh McCown. I actually literally comped him to Van Wilder, but he like a Josh McCown type of guy where he's like physically looks the part. You could come in and I could see him be a starter for short spurts, Mike White style. But
Josh McCown, the 3rd best Jets quarterback ever. That Josh McCown.
Yeah, that's a low bar, but yeah.
Okay, Josh McCown.
So maybe that's like the.
You could have just said my comp for him is Josh McCown. That could have been your whole argument.
Future coach.
All right.
Future coach.
Last guy here. Jalen Milroe, quarterback out of Alabama. 6'2", 217 pounds. Slightly lighter than I thought he would be. 22 years old. He's played 4 years at Alabama. He started the last 2. And he recently accepted his invitation to the NFL draft. He will be there in Green Bay. Jalen Milroe. DK. Heads or tails? Which would you prefer?
I kind of want heads, to be honest.
Okay.
He's my irrational love guy.
It is heads.
Yeah. I think this is good. This actually works out for Heifetz because Heifetz isn't buying the hype. You know what? Like, I understand why you might not, but hear me out.
Why should I not listen to the haters about Jalen Milroe? Why should I believe? Why should I dare to believe?
Does it interest you at all to have in a guy that has an extremely strong rocket launcher arm and can run a 4.3?
Okay.
How's that do it for you?
All right. That's not bad. Keep going.
He is actually I think he's a rare talent as a runner. This guy could be a running back if he really wanted to be. Extremely explosive, elite acceleration. He weaves through traffic. He like avoids tackles. But like also he has the ability. I've seen on tape like he can turn his back to the line and throw off play action. He's comfortable doing that. He has a really strong arm. There are some flashes of elite accuracy and things like that. Obviously, he's still developing as a passer. That is like, I'm not going to even pretend that's not the case, but I think the traits are so exciting. I'd be 100% willing to take a chance on this guy. Worst case scenario, you turn him into Taysom Hill or something. You know what I mean? Like, I think he's so special as an athlete. I just want to bring him into the building and develop him.
Heifetz?
Yeah, my argument is my favorite football analyst, Danny Kelly, said yesterday, and I quote, "The only guy who excites me even a little bit is Jalen Milroe, and he can't throw."
He can throw, just it doesn't always end up where it's supposed to go.
He can physically throw the ball.
He can physically throw the ball.
Is he better or worse than Anthony Richardson at throwing the football?
Worse. I would actually say significantly worse.
I would say Richardson's pocket presence is a lot better. I think Richardson's probably not as accurate, though. Wouldn't you say? Richardson can't hit a fucking like 5-yard out.
Nothing Milroe does is consistent. Like at the end of the day,
well,
like
sure, yeah,
the throwing motion is inconsistent, so the throws are inconsistent. Nothing is like in tandem together. Like he wants.
That's why I said flashes. He has flashes. He needs
like,
to get more consistent.
If he was a home, you don't like remodel the throwing motion. You kind of have to rebuild it. Like in all seriousness, I think the upside, like if I ran an NFL team and I drafted Jalen Milroe, one, I would be like, wow, cool. We drafted Taysom Hill, but like that's derogatory.
No,
but like,
yeah,
you would honestly, the first thing you would do is you'd have to send him to one of the private quarterback trainers and just change how he throws the football and then just stick him in VR because it's going to be so long till you can actually get him reps in practice.
So he's a projection? Kind of like Jaxson Dart?
I think it is, I mean, it is more than a projection. He has to rebuild how he throws a football. And like, I agree. Like,
I don't know. I feel like that's being, I think that's like a little bit too harsh on in his inability to throw football. Like
harsher than he can't throw, which you said yesterday.
Dude, first of all, I was being sarcastic.
That was off the record.
That's true. Second of all, you're just fucking telling everyone what I said off the record.
He could sue you for that.
Yeah, this is libel. Labelle. Remember? Can't remember.
Yeah, you called it labelle. That's worse than anything I've done. It's worse than fucking getting Maestro wrong.
I think that's a little bit overstating how he can't throw the football. Even though I know I did say that as a joke, you jerk. The other thing I would mention is everything you hear about Jalen Milroe is he's like the best guy ever, extremely hard worker, wants to be great, wants to improve. He's not just like some diva who's going to go in and rest on his laurels, rest on his athleticism. So again, I'm not saying I would bring him in and start him right away. I think he has extremely exciting traits that you could develop. And that's not necessarily true with a lot of these other guys.
Who is your comp for Jalen Milroe?
Justin Fields. So again, I'm not taking him high in the first round.
Sure. I mean, Justin Fields was the third pick in the draft.
Yeah. And Anthony Richardson was the fourth
10th?
pick in the draft.
11th?
Justin Fields?
Yeah, Fields was like the 10th or something.
Yeah, because the Giants and Bears swapped, and then the Giants declined to take Micah Parsons.
Why did I feel like
Smith,
he went super high? Oh, never mind.
The Giants could have had Micah Parsons. They traded back.
The Bears did trade up for him.
Right? Oh, right.
Yeah, it's fine though. I'm over it. But yeah, to be totally honest, I actually think that Milroe could be an NFL quarterback if a really good NFL team like the Eagles took him and stuck him as the third quarterback behind Jalen Hurts because he's not ready to be back up Jalen Hurts. And he needs at least a year. But honestly, he's Bruno Caboclo, that meme from the NBA draft 10 years ago. As a passer, Jalen Milroe is 2 years away from being 2 years away. I totally concede that physically he has the upside to actually be like, he has a superpower. The rushing is a superpower. And if he actually became like a competent NFL passer, like he would absolutely be a game changer. But like he is years plural away from even being like a backup for a team like the Eagles. And I think that's a team who has the luxury to devote resources to developing.
Yeah. I'm very nervous that the Steelers are going to take him.
I get this. I get the swing. I think that it's the kind of thing that I would love a team to take that swing in the 4th round, but you're going to have to go much higher than that. And that's what concerns me is.
I mean, him attending the draft is pretty weird, wouldn't you say?
I would have led that with DK. If I was DK, I would have led with like, he literally got invited to the green room of the NFL draft. So like the NFL thinks he might go in the 1st round, which is wild to me. But like,
what are the odds right now?
I don't know. Imagine if like the Rams took fucking Jalen Milroe. Wouldn't that be crazy?
The reason why I think the Steelers could talk themselves into it is like you bring in Rodgers, Milroe's the backup. I think they kind of liked that Justin Fields package where he would come in on short yardage plays, which you can't do with Aaron Rodgers. I kind of could see a world in which they think that pairing could work and he develops for a year under him. I don't want that at all. I mean, the Steelers don't even have a 2nd round pick because of the DK Metcalf trade, which would mean we get one pick basically in the top 90 and it's Jalen Milroe to be a back. I mean, that sounds horrific, but I'm nervous that that's where the Steelers' head is at right now. Because I don't think they have a ton of holes on their roster. And I think they think, hey, maybe we can make this work. Anyway. All right. So there are 4 other quarterbacks here that we wanted to flick at. There's Will Howard out of Ohio State. Heifetz, do you want to do a quick coin flip on Will Howard, or do you want to just kind of tell me what you think about him?
Speed round Will Howard.
Just give the 30,000 foot view.
Will Howard. I mean, all these other guys sucks, but I met Will Howard. Nice guy.
Nice guy. Firm handshake.
Yeah, he looked me in the eye.
This is what happens with GMs and whatnot.
Yeah, I met him. Was super nice, gracious.
This is like how the Golden Globes work. This is like the Hollywood form. They just want to hang out with celebrities, and whichever one they hang out with the most wins.
Yes. This is why I was mad about the Oppenheimer thing, Robert Downey Jr. I was just mad that Robert Downey Jr. met all these people, and they were like, oh my God, and voted for him.
He just charmed the shit out of everybody.
So yeah, Will Howard. He's going to be great because I met him. All these other guys suck.
Will Howard, I got to say, had a fantastic college football playoff. Looked very, very, very competent.
Game manager.
I would borderline say in those games, he was a bit above that. Made some plays.
Quinn
Similarly,
Ewers
Kyle
Texas.
McCord, was the Ohio State quarterback.
Syracuse.
And then it went to Syracuse, and he's in this draft.
Uh-huh.
I'm actually kind of into Kyle McCord because I'm starting to wonder, maybe, everyone blamed Kyle McCord for Ohio State, but maybe it was Marvin Harrison Jr. was the problem.
Right.
And Kyle
That's what I was
McCord maybe
wondering.
did his best,
Yeah. It's usually the receiver's fault.
I went back to watch Kyle McCord last night to brush up on him, and the game I picked to watch was them against Pitt, and I think it was like his first 9 throws were like crimes against humanity, like the worst throws I've ever seen in my life, including one pick 6. I think another one was picked. I was like, I got the ick. I'm like, there's no coming back from this. I don't care if I could watch all the other games of his entire career. I would never forget watching the first 3 minutes of this game.
Okay, I want to quickly talk about Quinn Ewers here, the quarterback at Texas, formerly the number 1 overall prospect in the country, I believe, right? He was the top quarterback prospect coming out of high school. What happened to Quinn Ewers, and why is Quinn Ewers no longer like DK? What did the people ranking him see coming out of high school, and how did that not translate to the college game?
I don't know. Honestly, I wasn't doing the rankings. I think it was like the dynamism in terms of like his arm talent, things like that. He's undersized. So here's why I don't like him. He's small. He gets hurt a lot, and he's inaccurate.
That's kind
what are
of
we
the
doing
big
here?
3 right there.
Like, what are we doing here? I don't get it.
Why was he the number 1 quarterback in the country?
I actually, that whole thing made me curious about how the scoring works for high school prospects, because it's like Quinn Ewers got a perfect grade and Cam Newton wasn't even the number 1 prospect in his class. So I'm kind of like, I want to know how that stuff works personally.
I don't know. He had a really thick mullet.
I think the actual argument for Quinn Ewers that I'd be intrigued in, because again, he's probably the most disappointing end-to-end college player I've ever seen from like the high school hype.
He should have gone back to school.
I think that I would be interested in Quinn Ewers if he walks in the meeting rooms and in the interviews, they're kind of like, what happened? And his answer is, there was a lot of hype around me and I let it get to my head, but I know I'm a good player. And I think that like, I have a chance here to make good, because like, if he kind of admits that it actually like his life and like, he's the first wave of NIL and like, he's in all these ads and everything. And like that got to him and it was a lot. I'd be interested in that. Otherwise I don't really want him, but I could see him
saying, I got too big for the moment. I let it get to my head. The game kind of got away, like a Spencer Rattler situation a little bit.
Yes.
Right.
Like honestly, if you told me one of these quarterbacks actually ends up playing in week 9 for like Miami and just actually plays just as well as Tua and everyone's stunned, I would actually think Quinn Ewers could be that guy.
Like, could he be Brock Purdy?
Yeah. I think if there's a Brock Purdy to me, it's Quinn Ewers. Just because it is kind of weird. His college career was bizarre.
I would give that award to this next guy.
The last guy, Dylan Gabriel, the quarterback from Oregon, formerly of Auburn. DK, what would you say about him? Talk about undersized.
I would say, yeah, the big worry here is he's 5'11", and that's like being generous, I think. I don't remember exactly what he measured in at, but he's really small, and that's a problem. Obviously, like Russell Wilson turned out to be a great quarterback at 5'11", 5'10"
Also,
and
Oklahoma,
change.
sorry, not Auburn. I was thinking of Bo Nix.
Well, he went to Oregon this last year.
Yeah, Oklahoma.
He went to
then.
3 schools.
UCF,
like these other guys.
UCF, Oklahoma, Oregon.
And I mean, if you look at his stats, it's actually absurd. He threw for 155 touchdowns in his college career, which is an all-time FBS D1.
Like he had the record
He
for
played
like
he played 6 seasons.
Well, he had
As a
the
starter.
record. Did he have the record for a day or hours? Because like Cam Ward broke it like 2 days later or something.
I don't know. Does Cam Ward have it? I think
Cam Ward is the record. But Dylan Gabriel, I think, no, he was supposed to have it, and then they got knocked out of the college football playoff early, so he didn't get it.
Yeah, I think that's right. He had 29 touchdowns in 2019.
Oh, I think the reason they don't count it is because Cam Ward, some of his TDs were not in the FBS. Anyway, Gabriel, left-handed, short guy. So right off the bat, you think Tua. And he kind of looks like, obviously it's just because he's left-handed, but like there's sort of that parallel. He's a big-time playmaker. Honestly, of all the guys in this area, I think I would most want to take a risk on him because I think the big thing holding him back right now is just his height.
He's 5'11".
Yeah.
Yeah, but like, I never met Dylan Gabriel.
Sure.
Heifetz is 5'11", you know?
I don't see how he could be good.
That's a very fair argument.
Decent hand size for 5'11", 9 1/4.
Short arms. He set a bunch of records in high school. He broke Tua's Hawaii high school state record for career passing yards.
I think the Ohio State game was kind of an ick. That left a bad taste in my mouth.
That was like the Michael Penix Texas game, but the opposite.
Yes.
The CJ Stroud Georgia game, but the opposite. Yeah, that was tough.
He kind of intrigues me just as a developmental guy as well. I don't think any of these guys are going to be starters, but yeah.
That was the coin flip game. Thank you to Dr. Mary Edwards Walker for participating in today's episode.
Yeah, big time.
We have a few things left. We got some emails, but first we have to shout out the winner of our bracket challenge. We had 5,000 people in the ESPN the March Madness bracket challenge. The winner,
5,500 even.
Daniel Gualdoni.
Great job, Daniel.
Another goddamn Danny. I can't get away from him.
How fitting, dude. So he won. I could read his address and we could swat him if you're mad, but no.
His bracket name was Pancakes or Waffles.
Pancakes or Waffles won. But no, Danny G, I couldn't believe this. Got the final right, obviously, the Florida, the championship, the Final Four, the Elite Eight, and even the Sweet 16. He got every team in the Sweet 16, which, no offense, I think says nothing about Daniel Gualdoni and everything about this tournament.
Of course. It was the most chalky tournament ever.
So
we're not taking anything away from you, though.
No.
We could literally if we wanted to. No, we're going to send him the shirt. We're going to send, I almost in retrospect feel like we should have done something more than a t-shirt for like a perfect Sweet 16. But
I think a Gentleman's Piss Club t-shirt is as good as it gets.
It's priceless.
Yeah. So we will email you email us your address, Daniel, and we will send you that shirt.
I already got it. That's why I offered to swat him, but we won't. We were afraid. So I did ask him why waffles or pancakes, and he said, I'm just kind of a random dude, and that's what came to my head. Pancakes or waffles. It does raise the question, though, which is better. I love this guy now. That's actually sick.
I think I love pancakes more.
Here's what
I'm
I'll
kind
say.
of a random dude, and it just came to my head. Pancakes or waffles.
I think I would rather have pancakes more frequently, but every once in a while, a good waffle is so amazing. It might hit harder than pancakes.
Daniel asked, are you guys IHOP or Waffle House fans?
I've never been to a Waffle House. I've only
never been to a Waffle House.
It's funny you say that. I was going to say if you choose IHOP, it's because you've never been to a Waffle House. Yeah. I actually think Waffle
like
House. I don't think there is a more.
I like none of those.
There are very few places I'm like prouder.
Craig's hoity-toity.
Is it hoity-toity to not want to eat at IHOP?
Yes.
Okay, that is hoity-toity.
It's kind of the definition.
You're
too good for Denny's?
I think there's a gray area there, but okay.
I don't know if
it's
either
like
you were
Michelin
right,
star
but
or Denny's.
I'm closer to DK.
I won't deign to go into a restaurant of that quality.
DK, how often are you thinking about going to grab some lunch or breakfast or dinner and you're like, you know what? I want to go to Denny's.
A lot.
Really?
Yeah. Skippy and I go to Denny's a lot. Well,
I don't like Denny's out of principle of just like Denny's is just a diner chain because of the East Coast. There's like actual family-owned diners.
Right. Good
so
ones.
like I just like the soul of like some random family owns this.
Craig won't be getting moons over my hammy.
I feel like me being against a chain
No
diner,
grand slams for Craig.
I'm good. I feel like it's not a hot take to be like, yeah, Denny's.
I'm not saying it's a hot take. I'm saying you're being hoity-toity. Because you refuse to go into a shitty diner.
I've eaten at IHOP many times and Denny's.
Okay.
I've had many a grand slam.
My only issue with IHOP is, other than just pancakes, the Mitch Hedberg joke of like, you have two and then you're sick of them, and also once you're an adult, pancakes
can't be all
are kinda
exciting at
brutal.
first, but by the end you're fucking sick of them.
The syrup's always sticky. Like the syrup is always sticky.
What syrup is not sticky?
The fuck
I know,
you
but the
talking
handles.
about?
I'm saying the handles.
Oh, the syrup bottle.
No, not
is sticky.
literally. I'm saying picking them up.
You should have
they got
led
the
with
four.
that.
Okay,
They got
Craig,
the blueberry-
Heifetz is actually way more hoity-toity than you. The syrup bottle is sticky. I can't eat here.
That's not what I said.
Heifetz is sending the food back because the syrup bottle is sticky.
I have been many
Please.
times. there's never a moment where I'm like, you know what I'm craving right now? IHOP.
I'm not getting called hoity-toity because
Elitist.
I was at a bachelor party
Coastal Elite.
in Florida. Dude,
Whatever.
Waffle House. We have to go to Waffle House sometime.
I'm just trolling. I'm just trolling you.
I mean, isn't it a bad sign that the punishment for losing a fantasy league is being inside of one of these establishments for 24 hours? That's a punishment.
No. Well, yeah, it's because
not a
being
reward.
anywhere. Where do you
The
want to
winner
be for
doesn't do
24
that.
hours other than your home or a hotel?
Yes, I get to go to the Waffle House for 24 hours.
Honestly, if I could be in a
Fuck
Waffle
yeah.
House for 20, dude, there are times I wish I'd been in a Waffle House for 24 hours.
I've never been in a Waffle House, so maybe it'll blow my mind. I have to go to a Waffle House.
You also got to learn how to order at Waffle House because Waffle. They're not in the food business; they're in the people business. Waffle House is a communal
Okay.
experience. No, don't even get me
clearly
started.
the coin landed on heads for Waffle
Get the
House.
fuck.
Heifetz.
No.
Heifetz is a shareholder.
Email in
A shareholder.
if you want to petition on behalf of what I'm talking about, of people who love Waffle House and like it. Waffle House is like sacred. Waffle
Look,
House.
I
you guys know what you're
I've
talking
heard
about.
that. I've
I
heard that. It's
can't
like
speak
In and
on
Out with
Waffle
you
House.
Californians.
Yeah, that's sure. I've never been to Waffle House. I can shit on Denny's and IHOP. I can't shit on Waffle House. Maybe it's fucking awesome. But I will say, you know what the problem with IHOP is to me? The pancakes aren't that good. I can get better pancakes in a lot of other places.
Well, yeah.
Even a mom and pop diner, the pancakes are just better than
No
IHOP's.
one here, Craig, is arguing the food is good.
Okay. and yet, for some reason, you enjoy going, even though the food's bad.
Yeah. It's like going to a dive bar.
No,
Yes.
that's not. The beer is not worse at a dive bar.
Well, that's debatable.
Oh, come on. The Miller Lights
The
taste different?
The lines are pretty fucking dirty. Let's be honest.
Maybe.
It's the ambiance is what I'm saying, Craig. The ambiance.
You love the ambiance
I
on
do.
IHOP?
I do.
Wouldn't the dive bar in this situation be the mom and pop diner and the chain bar be like the IHOP?
Yeah.
Well, yes, I'm not saying I love that Denny's is a chain. The Denny's that we used to go to in Seattle is in Soto, so it's like this really industrial, shitty area, and it's like there's just a charm about this. Like it's actually used to be for truckers and whatnot, and it's they got the old style, the Denny's style of building where it looks like. Kind of like that Nighthawks painting that's really famous.
Yeah.
where it's like the big bay windows in front.
Yeah, the
kind of
guy
that
is
style.
sitting alone in that painting.
Yeah.
There's nobody else in the diner.
Isn't there someone
It's
with
a
him?
sanctuary.
I think there's like
Court of
one other
Storm.
woman or something. Yeah, there are a few.
Look,
people.
Craig, sometimes you yearn for the mines. You yearn for shitty things, all
All
right?
I
Spiritually
said
speaking,
was-
honey, Shoney's is my home.
I actually completely understand yearning for shitty things. There's a novelty, there's a nostalgia to it. All I'm saying is like objectively, Denny's is mid.
By the way, there is a woman in Nighthawks painting. There's two men.
I
One is
actually
sitting
love
by
that
himself.
painting.
Yeah.
Who's the artist?
Rock.
I mean,
Well,
I should
don't
know this. It's
Edward Hopper,
Edward
yeah.
Hopper.
Yeah, email some Edward Hopper
Anyway,
trivia.
Craig.
All right, wait, here. Go through some. I want to go
Sorry.
through some other
Let's go to
emails.
Denny's.
I guess my
We'll
LA
go to
is showing
Denny's.
that I don't like Denny's. There was a Denny's across the street from the Ringer when our first location.
Oh, I'm not going to that one.
I never went. Yeah.
Denny's on Sunset.
Of course,
Come on.
you come to LA. No thanks.
I went to the McDonald's on Sunset once, and my life changed forever. It was the worst restaurant in the
You
world.
can't go
Yeah,
to the
that-
McDonald's.
That's
Dude,
the
the
worst.
McDonald's. Every
In-N-Out,
city has
too.
a
You don't go to the
McDonald's.
In-N-Out.
Actually,
Every-
it was maybe it was Jack in the Box.
Every city's a McDonald's.
Regardless, it was the worst restaurant in the world.
Yeah. McDonald's.
That's hoity-toity
DC,
of you, but
it
DC,
is
there's a
kind of,
McDonald's
yeah.
on U Street that you do not want to go to. But yeah, email stories about the crazy McDonald's in your towns that no one wants to go to and crazy shit at McDonald's.
The worst, best restaurant.
Yeah. ringerfantasyfootball@gmail.com. Also, this is important. Email us your take purges. We're going to do the take purge before the draft. I want to hear your take purges. It can be about this draft, about players, about what you want your team to do, but it can also be off-season, trades, takes, last season, the next season, players, anything you're mad at us about. Give us your take purges. Email them to ringerfantasyfootball@gmail.com, and we'll read the good ones on the take purge.
Yeah.
Email those. Also, got an email here from Arthur
Artie.
about washing hands, because we've been talking about people in their offices, whether they wash hands or not. Arthur says, "What's good, chaps?" He's English.
Oh, hello.
Today I was in the office bathroom, diligent washing my hands after we. He said we,
Oh, that's
which is he's British, so it's fine, right?
Did you say after
have a
after
wee.
a wee or after
He
we?
said after we.
Oh, I've never
Is
heard
that how
it
they say it?
like that.
I feel like the British
Oregon.
people drop like I don't know what the technical term is, like A's and does at the before words, and they just say a word. I think that's the thing.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway,
In British
so he's
slang.
in the
Correct me if
bathroom.
I'm wrong, Art. All right.
one of his work friends, he says leaves a cubicle, but he meant a stall. And he says it's so funny. They call the cubicle a stall.
Oh, wow.
That's
The
really funny.
cubicle? Well,
Is that bad that what we call your office in England is the fucking place you
I
take
mean,
a
it
shit?
makes sense.
Well, I
Yeah.
think we just
Yeah.
came up with our office version of the Gentleman's Piss Club.
Yeah, it's
Gentleman's Piss
cubicle.
Office,
Call it
where the cubicle
GPO.
is the bathroom.
That's pretty good. No, that's good. Yeah, wow. Anyway, so the guy leaves the stall and walks straight into the bathroom. And I said, "You should wash your hands." And he says, "Nah, I was just in there vaping."
That took a turn.
Which
There's just smoke coming out of the top of the stall.
I think vaping is the most modern thing happening right now that people under 40 have no fucking clue is happening.
Oh, I think they know what's happening.
People
I don't think
under
they-
40
they know
or
in
people
theory,
over
but
40?
I don't think they know how, like, I feel like there are certain things you have that feel like part of your body.
Mhm.
And I think for people who vape, the vape is like part of your body, like the way your phone, wallet vape. But I
Yeah.
feel like people, I don't know anyone over
Is
50
it a
who
Gen
vapes.
Z thing?
Millennial.
Creeps older, yeah. Vapes were a
I
thing
feel like
when I
a
was
lot
in
of people,
college.
a lot of people in my generation vaped, and then they realized it was like mainlining cigarettes.
Right.
I mean, that's the appeal.
It's pretty cool to blow out smoke, though. Looks cool. Sometimes the only thing about vapes is sometimes they're fucking huge. You know,
Yeah.
it's like you're holding like a remote control on the street. That thing can be like 3 pounds. It
And
feels
it
like.
lights up when you smoke it.
Yeah, there are the little. There's like jewels and stuff like that, which I'm pretty sure are jewels done. Are they outlawed? Or do
No.
people
I
still
don't know, it's like
jewel?
Four Loco. Like everyone
I thought
realized.
there was something like wrong with. I thought there was some
Yeah, they
issue
Actually,
with
these Four
jewels.
are
Locos
not
are
good for
comp.
you.
Well, I know they're not good for you, but I thought jewels are out of circulation.
I
I'm
don't
going to
know.
think of it. I actually don't know the answer to this. It's confusing.
Are jewels still around?
It's
Conflicting reporting.
Marijuana is still illegal in some states. Fucking
Uh,
wild.
Does Juul exist?
The FDA issued a marketing denial order against them in 2022, which was later rescinded, and the company is currently in a review process. I don't know. Regardless, I'm going to start vaping in the office.
All right.
Okay.
Same email. Arthur writes, also, I read a bulletin about the space industry, space insurance industry. I think he's talked to us before. Space insurance, which is wild.
Hmm.
And his newsletter has a space fact of the week. He included it. In 2008, Japanese astronaut Koichi Wakata brought some cherry blossom seeds to the International Space Station to study germination in space. The seeds came from a legendary 1,300-year-old, I cannot pronounce it, cherry tree, which
Cool.
is thought to be the oldest of its kind. All previous attempts to grow offspring from the seeds of this renowned tree were unsuccessful.
Hmm.
And then I copied and pasted, and I lost the rest of it. Give me a second. I have to go find it.
I'm going to go out on a limb here, pun intended, and say that they grew it in space.
That feels. You mean like in the space station?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
I don't know why in a bulletin he would say all previous attempts at growing
Right.
the tree on Earth were unsuccessful. And then also at the space station, they didn't do it either.
They successfully germinated in orbit. You're right.
Hmm.
But upon their return, the seedlings were planted in Japan, and to the astonishment of botanists, several space trees blossomed after 4 years. The usual time frame is 10. And nobody can agree on an explanation
They're
for this phenomenon.
Wow.
Mutants. It's all the gamma rays.
That sounds like the next Christopher Nolan film. That sounds like the plot of The Martian.
It honestly sounds, it's like Interstellar or some shit. Yeah, but I that blew my mind. I really hope that's true. I kind of trusted him because he read a newsletter, and I probably should have fact-checked that before
all
I read
the
it on the show.
space trees.
Yeah.
God, I love that stuff.
Before we get out of here, I want to explain the White Lotus fiasco.
So I did watch the finale.
Can you explain what happened on the previous episode?
Did we
Craig?
bleep out what Heifetz said?
We
then?
did. We bleeped it out.
Okay.
So White Lotus came up. I told Heifetz on air, don't spoil it. I haven't seen the finale yet. And then maybe 90 seconds later, Heifetz makes a one-off reference that a monkey kills people in the finale. I get very upset that he spoiled it for me. And then, after we finish recording, everybody else, Austin, Kai, Carlos, everybody who else is on the show with us, they all kind of just immediately kind of implicitly knew to kind of jump on board with this lie.
They played along.
And so...
And I didn't know any better.
But I left the show and I went and talked to my wife, Liz, and I was like, Heifetz just spoiled White Lotus. And she was like, what did he say? And I said, he said a monkey kills somebody. She's like,
you spoiled it for Liz right away?
Well, because she had been online, so she had kind of seen some things, and she was like, I don't think that happens, or if it does, like, it's not the biggest part of the episode. And I was like, maybe he was making that up.
Heifetz's restraint, I actually don't know if I've ever respected Heifetz more. The restraint to not say anything for like 15 minutes where we were calling him a total asshole.
There's nothing better though than just like lying to a friend and having them not like in college when we told people that Sean Paul had died in a boating accident. There's just nothing better than living in that moment. So I get
the best. I told you guys that my smartest friend, we convinced in like 9th grade that Warren Buffett made all his money from buffets, and he got like 0.01% of all buffets in the world.
Buffets are named after him.
Yeah, so like buffets, and he was named Warren Buffett. He called it buffet, and it sounded fancy. We had this whole elaborate lie, and so anyone who wants to serve food in that way has to give him like like credit card fees. He just gets like a small piece of everything. That's him giving the richest part of the world. He
just
ends
franchises.
My friend ends up going to like Carnegie Mellon Business School, which is a really good business school, and says this in a class.
No.
In business school. And he found out like 8 years or like 7 years later, and he just texts us senior year of college. He's like, I hate you guys.
That's incredible.
Yeah, that was.
By the way, this is great. So better than lying to your children, what are the lies you've told your friends that they believe for a long
Email
time?
us lies you told your friends at Ringer Fantasy Football.
And it like almost becomes a part of their
I would love to know,
worldview.
Leah, lies that they still believe.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Emails. Yeah. Oh, my God. This is so good. Email us lies you told your friends and like long cons on your friends.
Long cons. That's good.
Whether they're going or not. RingerFantasyFootball@gmail.com. I love that. Yeah. Long cons on your friends.
God, that's funny. He thought Warren Buffett invented buffets. That's a good joke.
Well, the key, I think the
perfect
best
for like an 8th grader. That's the perfect age to do it. And then it's enough where you would never think about it.
This is like the Marilyn Manson cut his rib out so he could suck his own dick thing.
Yeah, someone just says it once confidently.
And like everyone in my generation believed it and still does probably.
So wait, he didn't do that?
Well, I don't know. I can't confirm one way or another. It seems far-fetched.
It's believable enough for him. That's the problem.
Right.
Yeah, but I want to be clear to everyone. I got so much hate mail. I did not spoil the White Lotus for Craig.
No.
I said
so much hate
I
mail.
heard
That's
what
great.
he said, which was I hadn't seen it. And so I said what I thought was the single most outrageous theory that had floated around that was obviously wrong, was that a monkey, what I actually said that we bleeped out was, Tanya from season 2 is reincarnated as a monkey and she shoots her husband who murdered her.
Oh, I didn't know you said that. I thought you just said a monkey kills somebody.
I guess, well, that's what I was trying to allude to. Yes.
Oh, the reincarnation part, I didn't hear that.
So the monkey shoots someone.
I didn't hear that either.
Dude, I mean, after having seen the finale, I wish a monkey shot somebody.
Craig, spoil it for everyone.
No, I won't.
The irony of Craig actually ended up... Well, you know what's funny? Craig didn't say spoiler alert, so the irony is Craig actually probably spoiled it for people. Though this is coming out Wednesday night, so...
I mean, why?
Yeah, there's a little bit of breathing room. Craig says he just doesn't like the...
Yeah, I didn't spoil anything. I just said I didn't like
I guess we just said what didn't happen, so now people know
a monkey doesn't kill someone, so you can rest assured.
Rule that out.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Did we talk...
Good job, Heifetz.
Yeah, thanks.
I really did think you were being like total asshole.
I think it's similar to Marilyn Manson.
Yeah.
It was tough how effortlessly you guys like, you're such a fucking prick. And I'm just like...
You're like, damn, is that who I am?
Yeah, that's kind of, got there.
I was like, Heifetz just literally, now the whoops sounds funnier. He just goes, whoops.
Now the tuxedos
Like,
don't
no-
seem fucked up.
Actually, no remorse whatsoever. Just whoops.
Yeah. Now the tuxedos are starting to make a little bit of sense, actually.
Yeah, they are making sense. Hello, Miss Lady.
Email us your long cons. Email us your take purges. I don't remember what else we asked for, but those are better than whatever else we asked for. Thank you, DK. Thank you, Craig. Thank you, Carlos. Thank you, Kai. Thank you, Austin. Thank you, everyone who had any faith in me that I hadn't actually spoiled it. I think that's probably no one. Thank you, Lord.
Lauren.
Thank you, Panic at the Disco.
Nice. That lead guy is very talented. Brandon Urie? Is that his name?
Unclear.
That guy has some pipes.
How many bands have an exclamation point in their name?
In the middle.
Does
no less.
Wham?
I think
Yeah, you're right. Wait, I kind of thought it was at the end of Disco. It's in Panic.
At the disco.
Wham does
That's
have
wild.
an exclamation point.
Wham does. There you go.
I'm a big fan of the exclamation point.
Should we have that?
I'm one
in
of
this
those. I'm one of those
title?
freaks that, like, if you don't use exclamation points, I think you're mad at me.
Wait, should that be an Easter egg? Should we what should the title of this episode be? Because we could maybe get an like what is it? The best quarterback episode you'll listen to? Exclamation point.
Best.
It's the
Plus
best
quarterback.
exclamation point.
Yeah,
Quarterback
plus,
episode. You'll listen to.
or, yeah, that's good. And then if you made it this far, you know why.
Yeah, we just have to wait. Hopefully, get to minute 87 of the show
Yeah,
to
you're
get the
right.
bit.
Yeah, no one's gonna find out.
Do you like Panic at the Disco, DK?
Yeah, sure. I used to.
Yeah.
I don't think I've listened to their stuff much lately. Do they still make music? Are they still doing it?
Hold on, they did a song for Frozen too.
That checks out. Wow, Brandon Urie's only 37. I mean, they got started young.
What?
That's the thing about lead singers, man, or bands. Like,
They
half the
start when
time,
they're like 18,
Yeah.
17.
20 years go by. Rihanna's like 34.
No, she's
How old are the Blink 182 people? They're like my age, right?
Rihanna's 37. Still pretty young.
younger than fucking Russell Wilson.
I don't think that's true.
No, it's not. I'm wrong about that again.
You can't get Russell Wilson's age
No,
right.
I
You're
know,
like,
Russell
it's
Wilson's
not.
like 36, I thought.
He's
Yeah,
36.
he is.
Tom
Kind of blown away
DeLonge.
that Panic at the Disco is the guy.
No,
who's
no, Tom
36.
DeLonge is older than me. Dude,
Yeah.
he's almost 50.
Well, because they are like the 90s, right?
Yeah.
They got started.
That's the flip side, though, because Red Hot Chili Peppers was making music, and Green Day were making music that when we were in like elementary school, Craig, was really good. I had no idea that was actually the music that everyone else hated and liked their original music.
Yeah, because the Chili Peppers were the 80s they started.
That blew my mind when I found that
Yeah.
out, because Danny California was like the biggest song of like whatever year that was for us. And
yeah,
like,
right. Danny California was like, I feel like their pivot to commercial.
and I didn't realize till later that was like their fans hated them for making the
Right.
music. And I'm like, oh, I'm the morons they're appealing to.
Whatever the album with Under the Bridge was
Yeah.
my favorite album.
California.
It might have been. Was it Californication or was it called Under the Bridge?
Under the Bridge is the song, which
But the album is Californication?
I'm pretty positive.
Yeah, you're probably right. Dude, you want to talk about somebody who looks fucking good for their age? Anthony Kiedis?
No, it was Blood Sugar Sex Magic was the album.
I don't think so.
Okay.
That's a different album, right?
Under the Bridge is a song by American rock band Red Hot Chili Peppers and the 11th track on their 5th studio album, Blood
Oh,
Sugar
sorry.
Sex Magic.
Californication is a different album.
Yeah. I thought you were saying that Under the Bridge was on the album Californication.
I'm seeing
That's
it
what
on
I thought
Google. I'm
you were
seeing
saying
it
too.
on Californication. Like I Googled Californication Under the Bridge on Californication.
Well, it appears to be on Blood Sugar Sex Magic as well.
Am I wrong?
Which I think was first.
It was. It
Did
was
they
91.
put it on both albums?
They brought it back.
Let's get to the bottom
Bunch
of
of fucking dorks. We are looking up how to launder money in
Oh,
the
it's,
dictionary.
Oh, I might be wrong.
It doesn't appear to be on California.
It's not. No, I'm wrong. I'm wrong.
Um,
That's too bad.
Back.
Hate to see it.
All right, we're back. We're back to
We're
Heifetz.
so back. Yeah. Fuck that guy.
dude, have you seen what
Just
An-
being aggressively, confidently wrong.
No. I'm going to screenshot what I was looking at, and because I'm not crazy. I am going to screenshot what I'm looking at and show it to you guys.
Dude, look at photos of Anthony Kiedis.
Google
This man
Gemini
is-
is a menace.
This man is 62 years old.
Hold
He
on.
looks like Aaron Rodgers right now.
I'm texting the screen. You guys have to look at this photo, though. Like Google Gemini is a menace. Like this, my confidence came from look at this fucking picture.
Gemini is fucking so bad.
Californication songs 1 to 19, and it says 17 is Under the Bridge. But now that I look at it closer, clearly that's a different album cover on it, but it's
Yeah.
listed there.
Yeah, dude.
This is like someone's like mixtape from Spotify they found.
I honestly probably.
Gemini kind of can't be stopped.
What was the really famous Gemini search that someone?
Oh, that's the one
Did-
where I was like, we're all doomed. It was, what's the difference between a dressing and a wound? Or no, sorry, what's the difference between is there a difference between a sauce and a dressing? And a sauce is something you put on food, and a dressing is what you do to a wound. And then I was like, well, this is 3 days ago. I can't believe I bet they fixed it by now. And I Googled it.
Mhm.
Same thing, which is one, bad enough that just on Google and they shipped it to be the first thing comes up. What is going on? They couldn't fix that in 3 days.
There was also one about glue. It was like something about kids eating glue. I remember that was in.
Yes,
like,
it's good for you, and
Yeah, it was
you
like,
should
well-
eat as much as possible.
It was like, what are the best snacks for kids? And it was like yogurt,
glue.
mashed potatoes,
Also,
and glue.
did you notice, if you use Google Drive, did you notice that like they changed the colors of the buttons to be like, do you want Google Gemini to help you with this Google Doc? And like, usually it's like the colors
No,
for like
never.
yes and no are like blue and white, and they flipped it to confuse you,
Oh yeah.
Son
get you to
of
click the
bitches.
wrong button.
I feel like anytime you try to cancel some email subscription you're in, the cancel button is always like unhighlighted and the non-cancel. So you always like accidentally stay and have to go back and do it again.
Unsubscribing from things now is like that episode of what's the Nathan Fielder show? What was it called?
Oh, the rehearsal.
Nathan for you?
The
Or
Nathan, for you. Where the guy, he had an electronics store, and he was like a local small, he sold TVs. And then he was like, I need help undercutting Best Buy. They have a price match guarantee. And he's like, what are we going to do? He's like, we're going to sell TVs for $1,
Oh yeah.
and we're going to like force Best Buy to price match it and then buy their TVs for $1 and then have their TVs. And he was like, how are we going to sell the TVs for $1? And he's like, well, and then so they have a dress code. So you have to wear a tuxedo to come into
Oh
the
yeah,
store.
right.
And then they have you army crawl through a closet, and there's a live alligator in the room. And you have to like
my
take the
God.
TV out of the room with the alligator and a tuxedo. So a few people actually come back in a tuxedo, but like that's
How much are you
unsubscribe
willing
from
to
emails now.
degrade yourself to get this
Yeah.
TV?
Oh my God. Anyway, all right, we should probably end the show. Did we thank any? Yeah, we thank people.
We thanked
end it now?
Panic at the Disco.
Right. Goodbye.